Welcome to this edition of Cardinal Clips. I'm here with Dean Johnson, and he is a member of the Board of Regents. Dean, tell us a little bit about what being a member of the Board of Regents, what you have to do for that.
Well, thank you, first of all, Dr. Kjergaard, and your tremendous support of the University of Minnesota Marching Band, who is here today, and Terry Brow and his staff have been absolutely excellent to work with, and we're very appreciative. The community in West Central Minnesota is very excited. Our Regent is one of the governing board of the University of Minnesota. As per the Constitution, we're elected by the legislature, 201 members. There are 12 regents, one from each congressional district and 4 at large, and one of the 4 is a full-time student. Abdul Omari, interestingly enough, is a doctoral student from Kenya, and a very bright individual, has full voting rights, full privileges of the board. What does a regent do? First and foremost, just like your school board, they hire a superintendent. A regent, we hire a president. And it's very important. We're now in our 3rd year with Dr. Eric Kaler, who came from Stony Brook, and we have a wonderful president. He is a great leader, has great vision for the 5th largest university now in America by way of students, of 65,000 of undergraduate and graduate students. And interestingly enough, of last year's Willmar graduating class, 10 are at the University of Minnesota. Keep in mind, we have campuses at Duluth, Crookston, Morris. The newest campus is at Rochester, St. Paul, and Minneapolis. So other than hiring and holding a president accountable for the policies set forth, we set tuition. We're responsible for all real estate transactions, and we have much real estate, 29 million square feet of real estate, in that's buildings in the state of Minnesota. We grant tenure to the faculty and overall set the policies that the students and faculty subscribe to. Besides that, we're invited to many social and sporting functions, and we pick and choose. And of course, it's a great year to be a regent with the Golden Gopher football team. We're going to a bowl game. And that lends me to think about how this all came today, that the University of Minnesota Marching Band, 320 members, are here in Willmar for 2 performances. It was last year while flying to Houston to the Meineke Car Bowl, I was sitting with Dr. Jerry Lucar, who is the assistant band director. And he looked at me and he said, "Dean, do you think that the University of Minnesota Marching Band would ever be welcome to play in Willmar?" I said, "I'm sure you'd be welcome, but I don't know the details." And so I put him in touch with Terry Brow, the marching band director here in Willmar. And within a week's time, Terry had put together a plan, a business plan, if you will, and the wheels were set in motion with support of your administration and many others here in the Willmar School District. And of course, it costs money to bring people here. With 320 band members, there are 6 or 7 charter buses that pulled up out here. They need to be fed, and through the gracious endeavors, I believe, of McDonald's and Jenny O, and maybe others that you could help with, and some local donations. But Jenny O Turkey Store primarily was the financial sponsor of this event, and we're indeed grateful for that to happen. So usually they go to Rochester or play at Northrop. Northrop's being remodeled on the main campus. And interesting, last week we were in Rochester, the Board of Regents. My longtime friend Mayor Brady shinnied up to me and he said, "I understand the band's going out to Willmar this year." And I knew what he was talking about. And I said, "Yeah, that's right." I said, "I think it's an every other year event between Willmar and Rochester." And he said, "Well, we'll have to see about that." But then he found out that all the tickets here, which are $1,800 for each event, were all free because of the sponsorship. And he kind of scratched his head and thought, we don't do quite that well down in Rochester. We sell tickets down there.
So, Dean, when you think of the University of Minnesota and outstate Minnesota, How do you see the connection between the two?
Excellent question, because the University of Minnesota belongs to the 5.2 million people of this state. In fact, the University of Minnesota's constitution is older than statehood. And so it was a land-grant university, and the land-grant university came about by President Lincoln following the Civil War, and he believed that if each state would set aside certain land for the education of its citizens, it would begin to heal this nation. And that's the basis. Now, Iowa State, and Iowa is the land grant, not the University of Iowa. Michigan State is the land grant, not Michigan, the University of Michigan, but the university. And we live in a state of education, and we have about 70 colleges and universities, public and private, but the university being the largest. As I mentioned earlier, our antennas reach out as part of our mission, which is academics and research and outreach. And that outreach in part is at the University of Minnesota in Crookston, which has its own niche market, if you will, of equine studies with horses, turf management, and of course the liberal arts. Morris, one of the great liberal arts universities, the University of Duluth also has a medical school. Rochester's now aligned with Mayo Clinic, and we have our first graduating class, and that in this past year, and that'll continue to expand up to 1,000 students. And then there's about 50,000 students at the St. Paul and Minneapolis campuses. Here in Willmar, we do have a presence of the University of Minnesota. We have the poultry testing lab on North 71. We also have the dental clinic, where University of Minnesota dental students come on a 3-week rotation. It's worked fabulously for faculty as well as the students love it. Coming out here, they practice, if you will, under supervision of other dentists. And then, of course, the University of Minnesota itself, which has 28 colleges at the present time. But back here in Willmar, we also have the Minn West Technology Campus, a building which is directed for extension services, reaching youth, and also in the whole area of technology and research for in matters of disease for chickens and turkeys. And that research is going on. We have 2 veterinarians full-time and a lab assistant, and that's only going to grow.
What's the most enjoyable part about being a regent?
I think I mentioned that earlier, and that's seeing a person walk across the stage and gaining their bachelor's degree or their doctor's degree. There's some wonderful and marvelous stories, and we know the commitment of parents, the sacrifice of parents and students in order to get that. That, in my opinion, is number one. Second of all is to hear the stories out of the medical community of the University of Minnesota aligning itself with Mayo. 2 of the best medical facilities in all of the world are here in Minnesota, and the life-saving stories that you hear in regard to cancer and heart patients and the research that's done, that's absolutely enjoyable. Thirdly, the collegiality I have with my fellow board members. They're wonderful people. They've done well in life. They've worked hard. We're friends. We're colleagues. We struggle together. We have a large budget of $3.6 billion on an annual basis. We work with the legislature, we work with donors, and so you see in a large and broad context how big this university is.
Well, Dean, for a minister and a general and a former legislator and a member of the Board of Regents, you've had a really good life, that you've got to do a lot of different things. And we thank you for coming to talk to us today, and really thank you too for helping bring the University of Minnesota Marching Band to Willmar.
Thank you, Dr. Kjergaard, and your entire staff for the tremendous support. This wouldn't happen, if you'd have said no. And Terry Brow may have said yes, but if you'd have said no, it would not have happened, and we understand that. So we appreciate that, and hopefully the community will see this as a gift from the University of Minnesota Marching Band.